Differences in English learning between Chinese children and Filipino children. Differences in English learning initiation time. 1. Filipino children. Since the moment Filipino children are born, many of their relatives around them communicate in English. Moreover, they can access a large amount of resources such as English videos and English songs from a young age. This environment creates a natural initiation condition for their English learning, and they unconsciously embark on the journey of learning English. 2. Chinese children. In stark contrast, Chinese children mainly use Chinese for daily communication in their lives, and the videos and songs they are exposed to are mostly in Chinese. The vast majority of children do not have formal English courses until the primary school stage, and they only have 3 to 4 English classes per week. As a result, their English learning initiation is relatively late. 2. Differences in English input environments. 1. Filipino children. As English is one of the official languages in the Philippines, the environment that Filipino children are in is filled with English elements everywhere. Many of the animated cartoons, TV programs they watch from a young age, as well as the picture books they read, are in English versions. In the Philippines, English learning often takes place simultaneously with Filipino learning. Bilingualism is the norm rather than an exception. Children develop their listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills at the same time, and their frequent use of English in both formal and informal settings further reinforces these skills. Approaches such as learning through games, storytelling, and interactive media are also commonly used to enhance their English abilities. 2. Chinese children. In China, 90% of children do not start to be exposed to English until primary school. Before that, they know nothing about English words, cannot understand English questions, and find it extremely difficult to speak English. Compared with the rich English environment that Filipino children are in, the English input for Chinese children during the initiation stage is extremely limited. 3 differences in English acquisition methods. 1. Filipino children. Filipino children usually acquire English unconsciously in a relaxed and pleasant atmosphere through natural means such as watching their favorite English animated cartoons, reading interesting English picture book stories, and paying attention to various English signs in daily life. 2. Chinese children. Chinese children mainly rely on schools and offline English training institutions for their English learning. However, the teaching content places more emphasis on English reading and writing, with a relatively small proportion of listening and speaking exercises. Children basically have no opportunities for oral dialogue practice. This learning method is significantly different from the natural learning mode of Filipino children. 4. Huge gaps in spoken English proficiency. 1. Filipino children. By the kindergarten stage, relying on the early language environment and learning accumulation, Filipino children can basically communicate in English in their daily lives. 2. Chinese children. In contrast, even when Chinese children reach the 6th grade of primary school, their spoken English proficiency often still cannot reach the level of Filipino kindergarten children. This clearly shows the significant differences in English learning achievements between children of the two countries, especially in terms of oral English ability. V. Differences in parents' attitudes and levels of attention towards English. 1. Filipino parents. In the Philippines, parents regard English not only as an academic subject but also as a practical life skill. Since most occupations require a good command of English, parents and schools attach great importance to children's English learning from an early age. 2. Chinese parents. Most Chinese parents only regard English as a tool for exams. They think that as long as their children can get high scores in school English exams, it is sufficient. School exams mainly focus on reading and writing abilities, with almost no requirements for spoken English. In addition, due to the generally not so ideal spoken English proficiency of Chinese people, many Chinese parents consider this a normal phenomenon that is difficult to change. However, if their children can speak English well, they will feel extremely proud, and this can also make the children feel particularly confident.